It's unacceptable. President Cyril Ramaphosa today calling for an end to political killings in Kwazulu-Natal. He was on the ground in that province today following a spate of murders. Ramaphosa and other officials visited the family of the late Musawenkosi Mchunu, the convener of the branches in the Moses Mabhida region, who was shot and killed as he was pulling into his home near Pietermaritzburg on Friday. The province has seen no less than 3 political linked killings in the last week alone. To discuss, we're now joined by political analyst Sanusha Naidoo via Skype. Sanusha, thank you for being with us. Was this a good move by the president to go himself to spend time with a grieving family?
Good evening. Yes, I do think it was a very important move in order to show that this is something that's not taken lightly by the president, as well as the fact that he, as president of the party, I think there needs to be some kind of way in which you need to allay fears about what's going on in the province. It seems that the political killings, or the so-called alleged link to the political dynamics with regard to the killings, has basically escalated, and it doesn't seem to be abating very soon. And it does seem to suggest that there's real tension around how these killings are then playing into the political dynamics, both not only in the province, but more broadly in the context of the party and broader political dynamics of the party.
Well, this latest spate of killings, everybody's trying to understand the motives. Does it seem like it's political because you've got people on the opposite side of a political divide, or is it just, as some say, getting people out of the way for lucrative positions in parties or municipalities?
It's very difficult to actually try and unpack and disaggregate the motivations, the factors that are behind the latest set of assassinations or killings, however you want to describe it. And I think it does represent the complexity of how this ties into the bigger questions of what has been a divided set of issues around whether this is about getting people out of the way to try and bump up their particular individuals on party lists in light of what the election is looming, and as well as the fact that you want to position people for political positions and so forth. And at the same time, I think it's about, you've got 2 ANC members and then you've got an IFP member, and all of this seems to suggest that there's all kinds of intricacies that are playing itself out. And I think if you look at some of the work that's done by the political monitor, violence monitor in KZN, you can see that it's very much linked into the dynamics of how perhaps politics has unfolded in the province and has evolved since that from '94, from the kinds of tensions we've seen to what we're now seeing as unfolding as the issues around political violence that has evolved and morphed into assassinations.
Well, it seems crazy. Just the president saying that he wants police to get to the bottom of this in a week. But we've had a whole commission of inquiry, the Marani commission, waiting for that report. So will it be so easy to get to the bottom of this?
It's not. I think that you've had a commission which itself had been under its own internal contradictions and dynamics. I think just 2 days after one of the senior members of the ANC in the province had given evidence to the commission, you saw 2 more political killings take place. So I think it's not as easy as the president says, that in a week he wants the answers, and in a week there must be some kind of a coherence in terms of a case that's established around this. Because I think that we're still waiting, as you rightly pointed out, for the Commission's report. But the Commission's report is also caught up in its own political dynamics as well. So I think to really look at this from a much more pragmatic sense of perspective, I think it's about understanding the complexity of the factors, the motivations, and whether or not, again, the political parties in the province as well as the national level are ready to deal with what the results are if we have a case that comes out with saying that this is not just an easy, or this is not just one set of issues, but it's about being prepared for the kind of evidence that comes out and what it actually suggests about the province and these killings.
And the president doesn't have to only be prepared about KZN, but there's the Northwest. There's huge trade-offs here. Was he right to go to KwaZulu-Natal when the Northwest province is in chaos as well?
Well, I think think it's not just Northwest. I think we've seen other provinces as well that have been skirting around this issue, and obviously there's intense rivalry competition that's spilling over in different ways. So I think it's not just about KZN, it's about Northwest, it's about different dynamics that are playing itself out, it's about the challenges that are being put forward by particular branches and constituencies against the executive of particular provinces. In the Northwest, we know that there's been these allegations. So obviously, it's quite a trying time for the president as he moves towards the election. And of course, these things are beginning to rear its ugly head in terms of how people are positioning themselves for the provincial electoral process.
We've also had a change recently in the police ministry. Is Becky Cele the right man to be Ramaphosa's right-hand man in KwaZulu-Natal?
Well, Becky Cele has a very interesting record given his previous stint as police commissioner and so forth, as well as in the ministry. So I think he's come out with this idea that he's going to basically tackle this head on. Whether or not he's able to achieve the results that he wants to, and whether or not the president has given him almost an ultimatum to say that we want this in a week to come kind of evidence and deal with the case, I think this is the test of the mettle for Becky Cele.
All right, thank you very much. That was political analyst Sanusha Naidoo on the political killings in KwaZulu-Natal. And of course, we've seen President Cyril Ramaphosa speaking a short while ago after visiting a family of one of those killed on the ground in KwaZulu-Natal.